ready for this, I'm at the beach or
Good morning, guten tag, big up everybody, nice and decent people. Rock and come in, people. I miss you, you know. From yesterday we talk, we're back today. I miss the football something, yeah? Big up to Ethan Wanieri. He's escaping the claws of Mikel Arteta should this loan deal go through, right? More to get into with that, but I'm not happy about it because essentially what we just did was made our team weaker. You know what I'm saying? There has been allocated minutes who's been given to other players that Ethan could have got. That would have kept him at this club for this title running, you know. We got fixture pile up. I think we still got 3 games left in the month of January after we play this one. You know, when was the last time we spent? We're going into a Champions League game away, a big game at the San Siro. We're saying we're not bothered. So that's a good place to be in the Champions League. So tonight would have been a good night to get Ethan a run out and get him some minutes, right? Then we got another meaningless Champions League game. And then we have Wigan in the FA Cup. You know, these are games that I expected Ethan to get some minutes in. And in Premier League games when we're leading comfortably, should we decide to actually play football. You know, there's this idea that there weren't minutes there to be gotten. No, there were minutes there. The manager just didn't give them to him. And the facts of the situation is we have made our team weaker with this looming transfer. We have. But pardon my manners, we got the Clear Bear. Claire, we missed you, but I emailed you. We've been checking up on you. The chat been asking for you. But now we know that you're okay. We know that you're good. Thank you for the membership, and thank you for the super sticker. You're far too kind. I big you up, and for that, after being gone so long, we will give you a round of applause. So big you up. But big up the other legends that have popped in. You know what I'm saying? Bluebird, Never a Pin, legendary Quaja, Brian in the house, the world champion of the world. I haven't even looked across the Champions League fixture list today. Does Chelsea play today or tomorrow? Chelsea play tomorrow. And who does Chelsea have? They have Paphos, 6-0. Paphos at the bridge. Light work, my friend. We are already through the Champions League round of 16, so we should feel down. What? That's it? Heavy minutes. Ethan should get 90 minutes in the legs tonight to get match sharp, match fit, and get some confidence about him. As they should start to, but no. I promise you when that lineup comes out, Captain Fantastic is leading out. He's going out there. Yeah. Now let's just have a look real quickly at the projected lineup that FUTMOB has to start. It's the same midfield, right? Zuberman, Odegaard, Saka, Jesus, Trossard, Benjamin White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Lewis Kelly right in goal. That's what's projected to start on FUTMOB. I'll be shocked if he goes for rotation. Him, he wants this first place. This meaningless finish top of the Champions League group, he wants it. He craves it. You know, especially if Bayern win today or whenever they play. Big up to Godfrey. Big up, man. Big up. The assembled. Claire, I hope you're feeling well. Big up to Godfrey. Sending you some well wishes as well. Ethan has, here we go, 2 hours ago. He is free from the shackles of Mikel. Now, the good thing is he'll go actually play football. Now I see people talking about, oh, De Zerbi plays our style of football. I'm like, what? The only thing we have in common with a De Zerbi style system is that we possess the ball, but the styles are completely different. De Zerbi would not have us falling asleep at the Emirates. De Zerbi doesn't do all these. De Zerbi didn't do a whole lot of 0-0 draws when he was at Brighton. So you give him this score bunch of players, you think he's going to do a bunch of 0-0. I think he is going to cook with Ethan and with the United player Mason. However, I still can't get past the fact that we have making our team weaker by loaning out one of our best wingers, just because the manager can't find a way to incorporate them in the squad. Yep. Yeah, this is it. This is it, Godfrey. Aubameyang is what, 37? Something? 37 going on 50? Hey, man, big up some more dappings going on. Man has not respect to the people that big up. Let's see what else we saying before I jump back on my soapbox. Big up to Footy Banson thing. Say, finally released from the Arteta pen. How are we loading him out when he has more GA than Noni? Oh, shit. I wasn't even clocking that, right? The only thing, see, I get annoyed when Ethan spent an entire season last year proving that he belonged at this level, proving that he belongs in this Premier League. All right. The Leicester game 2-0 away because Mikel Merino scored a brace and everyone said, oh, shit, he's our striker now. He's our emergency striker. He's clinical. He's this, he's that. People forget that Ethan O'Neary was the man of the match for that game. Started right wing. Saka was injured. Odegaard, nothing. Man of the match for that game. The boy is bad. He's physically grown into his body. He's physically ready. He has the tech. And he proved that he belonged. And on Saturday, reports come out that Saka has a niggle. Madueke starts. Saka comes on to replace him, but Ethan isn't even in the squad. Like that's bad management. That tells me that this loan deal was in place. Or a loan deal was in place for him to leave all along. Because match week after match week, leading up to these ones, Ethan is not in the squad. What's going on? It's mad. I think the last time he featured was the Portsmouth game. Big up to social. That this coach get rid of that Norwegian. They're yin and yang, It's two peas in a pod. They're inseparable. And I think when that partnership breaks up, we will see a different Arsenal. Not gonna lie. Because I don't think any other manager in the world will come in and see the same things that Mikel see in him that we see or don't see. Honestly, I am not happy with it being Marseille. I don't want Ethan anywhere near Mason. One on one wing, the other. I think they're going to do well in that system. Like Aubameyang is going to appreciate another creative winger. I'm sure of it. Do I trust him to rotate? No. I do not. But it's on display for the world to see, Brian. The whole world to see that any other boss leader in this position who has the entire picture in front of them, not just focused on Champions League, but you are in 2 other competitions. And we know you only like to play a certain amount of players, a certain rotation. You like your rotation small. Okay, cool. That's fine. Want 2 things. You have to win that way. You have to win with that. If you're going to keep using these same players, you have to win. And prioritize. There is absolutely no chance of us not making the knockout round. With 2 games remaining. This is when you experiment, no? This is when you try the 2 10s with Gyökeres. Right? This is when you Bring Skelly in and put Timber back in his position and give Benjamin White a rest so his hamstring don't tear off the bone again. You know, this is when you try something else. De Zerbi don't play percentage football, to my knowledge. He doesn't. He doesn't play horseshoe football either. But I'm in a couple of group chats with a bunch of Arteta lovers. And the first thing they said was, De Zerbi plays the same system. I'm like, what? I know the fuck he doesn't. No, we don't play a system. I don't know what our system is. One thing I do know about Arsenal Football Club is that we are hard to beat. I don't know what our attacking system is. Set piece and on goals and individual brilliance. I've bailed us out so many times this year. I don't know what our system is. I honestly don't. Pick up to the doctor. We lost a body to an injury-prone squad. Definitely don't trust him to rotate. No. So at 7 p.m. tonight, 6:30, 6:45, when that lineup comes out, expect Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. And every one of us is going to ask, for what? For what? And with the fear of injury, sometimes you can call this shit down on yourself. Can you imagine? He start all the players and doesn't rotate. And then one of the key players, a key player, I'm talking about a Declan Rice or a Gabriel, gets a knock, gets clattered into. You think anyone is going to call him up on that and say, why did you start these players? No one is going to question him. But I'm very curious to see what lineup he rolls out tonight. 100%. Please like the stream, people. Got like 19 of you legends locked in. What we saying? Here for it. Spot on T with the Ethan point. He gets away with doing stuff that if he was a winning manager who has delivered a whole bunch of stuff and he has, earned the right to be stubborn, so to speak, but the way he is moving, I'm saying, like, brother, you absolute must. Because no one could fault any player in the squad, call them bad teammates, call them unprofessional, if after another failed season, they down tools on this boss. I'm sorry. Only at this club, technical attackers leaves and more defenders gets linked to the club. This is horrendous. Yeah. Coming off the back of 2 0-0 draws. We're letting an attacker go. And we're going to start the same attackers that we started in the 0-0 game. Like, what are we doing? Is this like expect a different result FC when we're doing the same things? Yeah, I hear that, brother. I've left that stuff. I didn't even listen to these voice messages. Like whenever shit like this float around the spaces, I immediately lock it off. People send the shit to me, I straight into the bin. That is not something I would want to hear. And if it was something visual, it's not something I'd want to see. You know what I mean? But that's their business. I don't know why you bought Madueke, but thanks. Brian, if you were around the spaces at the time when Madueke got signed, right? I was losing my shit. I was actually on Jody Dread TV when the news broke live on air. And I left the stream. But I was so upset. I was so furious. The entire circumstances around that transfer at the time, I'm fuming. There was no striker at the club. Didn't sign another Cam, so Eze wasn't at the club. And then the first move that we're gonna go for was him at 52 million. And what really made me angry is that Chelsea were willing to sell this boy to us the day before final. That was a red flag for me. We're like, damn. So we didn't learn from the Havertz deal. He won him the Champions League. They couldn't wait to get rid of him. And the day before a final, they're going to sell him to us? I don't see Arsenal Football Club in any situation where the day before a final, we sell a winger to a rival. I could never see that. Not saying best winger, but any winger at all. Because let's just say PSG had given you a problem the next day. that he could have helped you solve. You man said, "Nah, we're good. We'll take our chances." I didn't like the circumstances around that signing at all. But the window shuts, and I'm shutting up with it. And if zero Premier League goals so far, Martinelli on one Premier League goal so far, those are your backup wingers. But Saka and Trossard is doing good numbers, but Saka ain't exactly pulling up trees this season. But I don't know why. I don't know what's going on between Arsenal and Chelsea with transfers. Because then, we do this. We buy Madueke from you. But then you will sell us Madueke and then you go buy Garnacho. And I'm scratching my head like, what the? And Gittins, and I'm like, ugh. So it's like side pass to a side pass to a side pass. Loves the Chelsea reject. Arteta will only be happy when the whole first 11 suffer from tendonisms. Tendonism, this is a tender. If you know, this is a bad boy comment, big up to footy bands. Yeah. Play the same players. Play them till they're injured. Then you throw somebody else in. Somebody who's cold. Yeah? Somebody who's cold, someone who hasn't had any Premier League minutes in like 4 games, and then you throw them out there for 12 minutes and say, win me the game. Yeah? It's mad. It's not a system, it's a prison. Yeah. Yep. Mikhail's Rikers. You play this way or you don't play. Now, I think Eze's camp, I think they've come to the realization that when the World Cup squad is announced in the summer, you're not going to be in the squad, mate. Just based on how we know that Mikhail doesn't change. Based on how we know that how stubborn Mikhail is, he knows that you're going to get big part minutes. And Tuchel has made it clear long ago. So no one can even blame Tuchel for this. So you need to be match fit, match ready, playing minutes. We're doing everything but with Eze and Ethan and Skelly. So Eze's camp, they have a decision like, yeah, bro, it's not a World Cup year for you, With the guys you're competing with actually getting heavy minutes and playing well, in the middle of the park. Phil Foden, Morgan Rogers, even Cole Palmer is getting minutes. When he's not injured, he plays. Eze is fit and is not playing. So the amount of competition in that space there may have already cost him a World Cup spot. Now, how he deals with that mentally and how that will manifest itself in performance when he touches the pitch is a different story. What I've never understood is why and how Ethan's name can come up in negotiations for Matty. Wouldn't that tell you that they don't need none when Rodrigo and Semenyo were available for 20 mil more odd? And I think we can go out on a limb and pretty much say that a loan deal wasn't in the plans when Ethan was being convinced to sign his new contract. I'm sure he wouldn't have agreed to that. Yeah, going into the season, and he sits down with the manager and he says, what's my role in the team? And Mikhail says, you know what? I'm going to play you in a couple of the EFL Cup games. Odegaard gets injured, you're going to come in. But other than that, you won't even be in the squad. And you're going to play the EFL and a couple of FA Cup games. And he's like, nah, send me out on loan or something. But if they said we weren't going to play you at all, and then we're going to loan you to Marseille in January, sign here, I'm not sure he signs that deal. I don't think he does. So there's a breakdown there. There's the disconnect there, a fallout. I dislike this coach heavily. I just want him gone. Now, I must say this. Right? I must say this because I have to clear this up. So, because I like for you all to know where my position is and things, right? In this spaces, when we have panels with the Arteta out as first 11, when we're on, it's me and it's Jez and it's Aaron and Shane and Normsky, and we're fully out, and Gianni, all the boys, Matty from Southern Gooner and that. When we get together, we're going to have a Arsenal Arteta bashing session. Arteta Arsenal therapy session. There are times when it goes around the panel and it says, if he wins the Premier League, I still want him gone. And I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure, man, because you man know I'm on record saying, he delivers 2 trophies, whichever two, I'm calm for another year. As long as you win. I can't be here bashing you for not winning trophies and then you win 2 and I'm still, you know what I mean? But I'm in the minority with that. Most people saying Premier League or Champions League or he has to go. But then there's a more radical take on the panels at times when the man them say, if he wins the Premier League, I still want him gone. And I'm like, I don't know. But as things go on and on and on, and you get new information and you process things a little differently, I still don't agree with that sentiment, but I understand why they're saying that. And here's why I understand. Should we win this Premier League, the Opta and all the experts have us to win it, yeah? Okay, so say we win this Premier League. The next thing for us to do in the project, in the process, is to retain the Premier League. And lo and behold, I with hand on heart, there is no way I can sit here and say, I believe we can retain the Premier League playing this way under Mikel. So under that premise, I do understand why someone will say, even if he wins the Premier League, I want him gone. And I would agree with that, only because I don't think we can retain it under him. And once we win it, that's the aim of the game, yeah? We win the Premier League this year. Next year, the sole purpose, the priority, the top priority, right? Of course, you want to win the Champions League, you want to win this, you want to win that. But what comes before all next season, should we do it this season, is to retain it. And I don't think we could under him, playing this way with the players that he keeps running into the ground. I don't think we could. So I no longer think that's a blasphemous statement to make, win the Premier League and I still want him gone. For that reason and that reason only. I don't think we can retain it under him. Am I crazy? They sent Ethan to a Mason Greenwood and De Zerbi team. This is a low-key push out the door. See, big up to DJ. Big up to DJB. Because DJB been calling him Ethan Smith Rowe for a long time. You know, loan sell. You know, he loves to loan out a player he don't want. Remember, he loaned out Saliba again. Went into the season with Rob Holding and that, and gave Ben White Saliba's number. Ethan Smith Rowe. Low key push out the door. I can hear this. Another reason why you could put in the fact that if he was the Premier League, you could still want him going, because we want our players back, especially the ones that have this type of talent, this type of potential. If it was the choice to go to Marseille, that's a jab at the manager, in my opinion, and rightfully so. I hear it. But my bigger question is, Bertha wanted to get Ethan to Crystal Palace, known as a part of the Eze deal. What a waste of 6 months, plus Bertha have enough power at Arsenal. Bigger questions. Need answers. These are the questions that I'm expecting Charles Watson Kempton to ask. Please tell me this is not a loan. Yeah, I don't even know the details of the loan, but I know it's a loan. But nah, I don't want to see Ethan be sold. Nope. Not until we've seen the best of him. Because we haven't seen the best of Ethan, and we will never see the best of Ethan under Arteta. So until we actually get a boss, a footballing coach, who is going to play to Ethan's strength, the Eze's strength, the Gyökeres's strength, and actually play the football that Arsenal is known for playing, I think it's a poor decision to let Ethan go, especially to sell. Still not a single player in double digits in all comps. I think Martinelli is the closest on 9. Yeah. Martinelli is the closest on 9 goals in all comps, but he has 1 Premier League goal. What does that tell you? That tells you that he cooks in Europe, and the hat he banged against Portsmouth, but in the Premier League is dead food. My days. Yes, people. Big up, man. Big up. Keep hitting them likes and everything. You know them ones. as they needed an emergency loan to save his season. How does he react to this, BX Gunner? You know what I mean? Because you leave Palace when you're a mainstay, go to a bigger club, it usually solidifies your position. Yeah, it usually solidifies your position in the World Cup squad. But instead, man has taken himself out the World Cup squad. My God. And on the 26-minute mark, I have to pause and we have to acknowledge, because the only man when silence gets louder when he walks into the room, just like the chat room or the comment section got quiet when the boss just walked in. Big him up. Big up the Don himself.
Maybach music.
Ross.
They can't keep a good man down. Always keep a smile when they want me to frown.
Don't tell me no one. It's like boom, bye, bye, in a body boy head. You wanna promote the nasty man, them a feed dead. Jamaica, Jamaica.
One more time.
Out in the street, they call it murder.
Murder. You know how we do, people. We have manners. We pay respects. We take the respect off ice. We throw it on E. Ross when he pops in. As we talk about Ethan, he's one of our own. He's one of our own. Arteta don't want him. Let's send him on loan. Jesus wants a contract extension. Let me, brother. If you are on what 240, 250, of course you don't want to extend that. That's a business decision for him, you know. And I'm glad that Bertha is here, seeing all these shit contracts, you know. And he's doing his business. This is doing here, doing there. But these bad contracts, these economically unattractive contracts that are at the club, you know, he's throw his hands up and be like, listen. This is before my time. I can't answer for any of this shit. I have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? I agree we sold players, but we didn't buy correctly. You know what I mean? Don't worry, Brian. Because here's the thing: next transfer window, all the shit players that you don't want, we'll come back in for them. Let's back up the dump truck. You know, next year there will be another Chelsea player that Chelsea don't want that Arsenal's going to pick up. You know, let the record show that while we're talking about Ethan, last year we picked up Raheem Sterling and he got a fuck ton of minutes that Ethan should have gotten last year. Even with Saka injured, with Odegaard injured, Ethan being fit, healthy and in the squad, he still didn't get the amount of minutes that he should have gotten. Sterling was here starting in the second leg at PSV Eindhoven. We were 7-1 up on aggregate. And the Chelsea reject, the Liverpool pass, the City pass player is getting minutes over the future of our football club in Ethan Nwaneri. That's gross mismanagement. These are things that get swept under the rug, but Ethan won't forget. Because Ethan surely would have had to remember what I just said. Like, bro, we're 5-1 up at the burner, and I can't get minutes. Can't touch the grass for one bit. It's mad. Even if he wins the quad, sack him because he wouldn't win another after 5 years after that. We retaining the Premier League is the sole purpose of next year. Should we win it this year? And with hand on heart, based on how he plays football, I don't see him doing it. Whoa, that Kool-Aid drinking lasted 2 shows, BBK. Come back. Come back to the light. For some reason, the assembler thought I left and went somewhere. You know. I promise you I didn't. If Arsene Wenger could retain, couldn't retain the Prem. Yeah, Arteta never will. Fair point. Fair point. You know. But we gave it, Chelsea took it the final year. But the business model of Arsenal football clubs was different at the time. Matter of fact, it was harder to win leagues back then and definitely harder to retain them, competing with that Man United team. But this level of investment, I believe, with a different coach, yeah, we can retain it. You know, because it's not like we haven't been figured out. Teams know how to play against us. We've been figured out. It's just that the individual brilliance in Trossard and Madueke against Club Brugge and Zubimendi versus Forest can unlock a team. Or then there's the set piece thing that can unlock a team. But for the most part, our attack's been figured out. So to give yourself the best chance to retain a Premier League title, you definitely need to change this up, freshen up our attack, something. We got 25 of you legends locked in. This guy wins the league. He's going to double down on his BS. Yeah, I'm not on it. It's Slot and Ranieri all over again. I want him gone. And this is the thing. And this is the importance of dialogue. Because had I not had that dialogue with the man them on the platform with Gianni and Jezza, I wouldn't even have looked at it this way. I'm so starved when Boy 10 says, hey, here are 4 trophies. We're leaving with two you do one. I'm like, give me any 2. I'm not picky at this point. I'm hungry. But when you look further at the bigger picture, okay, we're 7 points clear with 48 points to play for. All things being equal, we get down to the business end of the season. We may see this one out. But then what? You know? Because we all laugh at Liverpool saying this is the worst title defense that they've had in however long in the Premier League era. Can you imagine us shitting up the place next year? Just get all the way off. Yeah, but you know, from a business decision, a business standpoint, you're in a shit contract or a lucrative contract in your that's beneficial to you, obviously. Now, if he's willing to take a pay reduction and get bid part minutes like Ethan, put him on Ethan money. Of course, that clown wants a new contract. He would only earn pennies elsewhere. You know, it's done, bro. Bad business decisions. I don't know how much of a hand Arteta had in that. Him, Edu, but that contract and the Kai Havertz contract, criminal. Money laundering. But the writing was on the wall, right? Remember, like, this is the same club that gave Eddie and Ketia 1K a week, 100K a week, and that. I think Reese was on 100-something K a week. Reese, you know. This coach stays here another 2 years. Ethan and MLS are gone. I'm not backing any of that junk. We have a talent at the top level. I hear it. Big up to Guna SC. Big up. Real question. Does MLS try to get a loan in these 11 days left in January? I don't think he does. I think he starts today. I think he starts tonight, actually. So he'll start tonight. Probably won't feature against Man United. And then who do we have afterwards? After United, we have Leeds. No, it's a valid question. Because other than tonight, I don't see minutes for him until the next Champions League game. Premier League game, he'll play Benjamin White and just runs him in the red and prays that he doesn't pop a hammy or pull up again. Or you see that Mascara is back in training. Mascara was on the bench on Saturday. You know, so the 90 minutes on the right flank can be split between Mascara and Benjamin White right now. Neither of them are fit, but they'll split minutes over there until Nkapie gets back. Then he'll put Timber back at right back, and then Kelly still is just sitting there. Canton and Watts together do a stream should be legally classified as gay porn. Have they streamed together? I don't know if they have, but them two had a Arteta love affair. Big up Rouse. Big up, man. Big up the man them. Big up the man them. As it looks worse than when Grealish went to City, lost his mojo. That's a great comparison. I'm the man at Villa. Keep him up, relegation last day, blah, 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 re-sign 100 mil. Go to City. I think he scored like less than 20 Premier League goals the entire time he was at Man City. But City fans thought he was a crucial part. He was our most played player. It was a flop to me. But all that is masked and covered up in the fact that you won a treble. Okay, fair play. Got it. But, brother, he didn't win a treble because of Grealish. I'm sorry. He won a treble in spite of that motherfucker. You know what I mean? His contribution was minimal. It's like all them on the Argentina team, World Cup this, World Cup that. And bro, the Emi Martinez and the Messi tax, heavy. Yeah? But Eze, the man at Palace, leader of the team, wicked, bad boy FA Cup run. Comes to Arsenal, step up. Stepped him right out of the England squad. Then he goes on international duty and then shows his quality and then comes back. Odegaard's fit, he's out of the team, no longer playing. March comes around and he doesn't get a call up. He know why. He doesn't have to ask Tuchel why. My question is just how does he respond to that? Does he just tune out Mikel? Because if you're Eze, you're out the squad. Like, fuck it anyway. So whenever you get your chance, just go out there and play your football. Don't do none of this robotic shit there. No. What's he gonna do? Not play you? Okay, he's not gonna play you. He wasn't playing you anyway. Big up, man. I am good, my G. Bro, we're about to be the most dreadful football tonight. And you know what? This is exactly what happens when we think we're about to see a dead performance. We actually turn up, yeah? Because we thought we were going to see a good performance against Wolves, remember? Because Wolves, coming off Wolves, we slapped Club Brugge. Man, the wicked goal of the season, probably. But oh, man. There's nothing more you would like after a wicked Champions League midweek performance than a team with 2 points at the carpet in Wolves. And we know how that went. We were expecting, oh shit, Man City just dropped points. We just had a dead howler versus Liverpool. Surely we can't have another dead howler 0-0. Forest, 17th. Oh, slapping. 2-0, 3-0. I mean, we got the clean sheet part right, but damn, the stagnant attack gave us nothing. 0. So when you're expecting to see a dead performance from this bunch, they just might turn up tonight because Inter, unlike us, aren't clean through. Inter are in 6th place on 12 points. So Inter don't win tonight, and they're the home side. They could find themselves in the playoff spots. For me, Nwaneri starts over Odegaard every day of the week, 100%. When he was injured, I just don't understand how them are pretending like when Odegaard initially got injured, not the knee injury versus West Ham, the shoulder injury, the first one, when he fell on his shoulder, no one panicked. No one, nobody. Everyone was like, cool. We got enough covered there. And even the people who love Odegaard and love Mikel, in those games against Leeds and against Forest at home, when Odegaard got injured in both those games and Ethan came on, we ascended in the game. The team looked better as an attacking unit. How quickly they forget. That's some short-term memory, something. And then we do streams and we talk to these people and we say, what other captain do you know in his own team? There were 2 or 3 players better in that position. And we named the players. We said Eze is better in that position than him. Factually went on the best run of form when Eze was in that position. I would say Ethan is better in that position than him. Some people went too far and said, well, even Max Dowman is better in that position than him. I don't believe that yet, but Ethan and Eze for sure. Something like, your captain don't always have to be your best player, but you can't have 2 players in the team better than you in your position and you're the captain. If that's the case, you better be a supreme leader of men, which he is not. So when Arteta goes full sprint tomorrow, who gets injured? It's tonight. That's where I'm at right now, AJ. I'm sitting there watching the games. I'm like, at the 90 minutes, who has a red cross next to their name? That's my biggest fear now. Who has a red cross next to their name And how long are they out for? You know what I mean? Do you think that Blunderman is in awe of Wenger? He's now trying to make himself paramount with the stadium built allegedly. Uh, he should. If he walked through the halls of the Emirates and see Wenger holding a Premier League trophy, a gold one, you know, I mean, if he follows Wenger's story and Wenger's legacy and see that Wenger, 2 years in the job, did a double, did a Premier League FA Cup double on Fergie's head, who is the GOAT, and in a 7-year span took 3 Premier League titles from him. We had nowhere near the spending power for Man United. He should be in awe of that. Yeah, that's what you're chasing. It's not Emery, because Emery lasted 18 months and gave you a squad that you thought was so shit. Gave you your only trophy. If he's not in awe of Wenger, he should be. Jesus has more minutes than Ethan, and he's a recovering player. Yeah, imagine that. These are some legit questions, legit points, you know. Never forget, Arteta got Max injured by playing him in a behind closed door game when he asked him to help his lover, Jesus. Stupid does what stupid thinks, ever decreasing circles. Big up to DG2. Say, man, Ethan on loan makes no sense when we need him. This cloud manager. Yeah. We have factually made our football team weaker. Factually. That's what we've done today. Never forget Bayer Leverkusen Cam forced us to buy Nkape at any point. The way Bertha made that loan work. Real question: does MLS start Wigan, because that's this month? Yeah, he should. He should. This is what I'm saying. There are opportunities and minutes are there. You know what I mean? And part of the reason why the opportunities are not as there as much as they should be is because of our style of play, our inability to kill teams off. Wolves, for example, listen, that should have been 2-0 first half, 3-4-0 second half, rotate the squad with all the respect. Rotate an already rotated squad. Get everybody in and get everybody fit, everybody sharp. No interplay attacking football. Interesting. We'll play all the good stuff. If we score a counter set piece of Jesus plays, then yeah, Inter will play all their flair. Yeah, they need to win this. 6th place on 12 points. They need 3 points today. Let's not forget that Inter are fully drenched in the title race for themselves as well. Serie A is actually. Well, let's see what Serie A is on. Yeah, they're 3 points clear on Milan. 6 points on Napoli. 7 on Roma. So they're fully engaged in the title war as well. I had someone tell me that Odegaard has a great legacy than Arsenal, than Alan Sunderland, the man who made the number 8 legendary for our club. Bruh. He doesn't have a legacy than Rambo. Rambo did the number 8 more justice than he did. Yeah, there we go. He's not on the same level as Rambo, man. FA Cup winning diving header in that. Think Mikel Arteta is one in awe of his own shadow. Only one other person that I know is self-absorbed, infatuated with himself, and peddles smoke and mirror nonsense, recycling mediocrity as an achievement. And with that being said, Doctor, I think it's one of the reasons why he will go strong tonight, because finishing first in the Champions League phase is an accomplishment, an achievement to him. He values this. And if it comes at the cost of running his top 4 defenders in the game in the ground, so be it. Collateral damage. He would have gotten what he wanted, and at the back end of it, when it cost us in the long run, just make an excuse about it. They fix the congestion, guys, and knows what he's doing. Is no one should ever be shocked if they leave. If we see Mikhail leave the footballing landscape, and then in 4 or 5 years when he's out of football, you find him running for office, some kind of political job, because he's a very, he's a politician. He's planned for all the scenarios. Should it go tits up? If Arsenal needed 9 straight wins, there could be problem as Blunderman man's best is 8 straight wins twice. I wouldn't have said it like that, as I couldn't spell half the words, but I appreciate the sentiment. I tell you, man, when the doc gets on his keyboard, sometimes I look at Doc's comments and I gotta be like, let me make sure I didn't sip too much of my Irish whiskey before I attempt to read some of the shit that Doc puts on the screen. But big up Doc every time. The same people pushing Arteta and Odegaard off as world beaters are the same people fighting for the rights of of chicks with woo chicks with sticks, delusional whack jobs. Yeah. The lady boys, the shims, the she him. Big up the monster, man. Big up. That's funny. AJ says, so Darren, question, please, brother. There are 48 points left to play for in the Prem. How many of them of the 48 do we need to win the Prem? Yeah, that's a good question, So, my calculations have been off. So I did calculations a couple weeks ago. Now, my calculations included 3 points versus Liverpool, 3 points versus Forest. Well, we only got 2, so that's 4 points dropped. So I have to go recalculate. But because City lost, right? So City, let me have a look at the table before I speak out of term. So Man City are on 43 points. So 48 plus 43 is what? 91. So the maximum amount of points that City can get is 91 points. How many will they drop? Because I find myself looking at the table hoping that Man City implodes. Or like self-implode and we kind of just walk the title that way. As the assembled said, us putting 9 wins together, not going to happen. So the maximum City can get is 91. So let's just say they're not going to get 91. They're not, right? So let's just say they get 85. So we would need 86 points to win the league. So we would need 36 more points. So out of those 48, 36 more points gives us 86. So 12 more wins around there. I think 12 more wins can do it. So can we win 12 out of 16? Kind of what I was alluding to yesterday when I said we need to go on a run. We need to put 5 to 8 wins together. And if we can hand Man City one of those losses, it's a tall order. Because I think we're going to go there and set up for a draw. And you know how that usually goes. Isn't MLS a midfielder? Why doesn't he get a game there? Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard. Those are his favorites. That's his go-to midfield. And at this point in the game, you see him taking off Odegaard and he's bringing on Marino. Is that even bringing on Eze? When Rice doesn't play in the cup games, in the 8, he plays Marino. And, the Spanish connection with him and Zubimendi, there's just not enough room in the middle of the park for MLS. And this is what I'm saying, Brian. We're not going to see the best of these players, Ethan, MLS, or Eze, while Mikel is still here. We won't. Because the new manager will come in and see MLS as the midfielder, just like you're saying here, and be like, okay, he's going to play there and everyone else has to fight for their spot. But now, no one has to. Odegaard doesn't have to fight for his spot. He knows he's starting week in, week out. Liverpool came first last season in the Champions League. They got bounced in the first round. Yeah. Out of there. PSG was in the playoff. PSG weren't even top 8. And they knocked out every English team, every Premier League team they knocked out. They knocked us out after they knocked them out. Well, they knocked Villa out in the round of 8. So, yeah, this is where he'll cook. He'll actually cook there, but not under this system. I would play 3-4-1-2 formation tonight. I would make Timber and MLS wingbacks. He's not doing that. Big up to Guda Regan, gutting my Kings game up short, hoping Arsenal don't do the same. Yeah, man, I was gunning for you, man. Indiana Hoosiers. Yeah, I was gunning for you because it would have been good for college basketball for the U, but the run the U had put you back put you back on the map this year, and let people realize just the rich history that Miami University has in college football. But big up to Guna Rican. And while we're big enough, big up to the legendary Suge. Big up to Suge. Big up to Taryn in the chat. Hit the like and subscribe. And for that, we have to give our big bro Suge a round of applause. Love for that, my guy. Big you up every time. Big up to Mr. Pads. Big up to the Waffle Don in the house. Let's see if Nunny can match Ethan first season with 9 goals. All comps, yeah? Right now, Nunny is in what? 3 in all comps? I think all of Nunny's goals come in the champs, ain't it? He missed that pen. The assembled them straight 8 twice was in 2023 when Arteta wanted to attack. Yep. Jesus, look at this shit right here. I'm not even gonna bother with that one, Doc. But big up the Doc, man. Yeah, man. Back from a golf tour, you said, What? What's your handicap, man? Have you ever shot like a 72? Big up Mr. Pads, though. Yeah, man, that's around April, May, when the weather turns around here, I'll get some golf in. But now, way too cold for me, my G. That guy put in his Inter Combine 11 Zimmermandy, Odegaard instead of Barella and Caniaglo. I've seen one that puts Calafiori over Bastoni. And I'm like, are these men mad? I think your suspicion is right, BBK. Probably going strong. God forbid chasing something up. For fuck's sake, give us 4-4-2. Try something. Try it now and try it against Garrett. Because if it works, you get hailed as a genius. And what more he loves than being glazed, right? He loves nothing more than being called a genius. But what kind of genius only has one idea? Yeah, man, you turn it off, man, because we're enemies this weekend. We were friends last weekend. Big up, but yeah, this weekend, it's not there. This weekend, we're hoping that you crash and burn. Barella is clear. Yeah. Big up to Wahaha, man. Appreciate you checking in. Or that. Hey, man. Get well soon if you're fucked up like I am. BBK, I went to the Gulf countries. Oh, jeez. Okay, the Gulf. Okay. The U. Oh, I thought you were talking about fucking playing golf. Yeah, it ain't water. Yeah, so we had a base in Afrajan, Kuwait, where we postured and had been there a couple of times. Not my favorite place, but yeah, big up, man. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If Igal ever comes to the East Coast, I'm hitting him with at least a dozen eggs. Well, he's Canadian, right? But Canada are hosting a bunch of games for the World Cup, so I'm not sure if he's gonna travel to the States, depending on how far Canada goes. But I don't know. Is Charlotte hosting any other games? I know we're hosting a couple here at Lumen Field in Seattle, a couple of them in Dallas, Atlanta, and the final is in Jersey. And I'm not sure if Charlotte's getting any at the Bank of America Stadium. But yeah, I would avoid that dude at any cost. Let's hope Ethan doesn't pick up any bad habits at Marseille. Yeah, like, getting the ball on a half turn and running at his defenders. Because I promise you that De Zerbi is not going to have this boy tracking back and have his hamstring run off the ball. Of course he will track back. It's part of it. But when I see our attacking players go on the pitch, if you're an attacking player and you go into a football pitch and the first thought in your head as an attacking player is what the coach wants from you defensively, you're like, oh, man. It kills your spirit, innit? Because I'm sure he doesn't tell Saliba and Gabriel, I know you men are defenders, but I need y'all to build up in the attack and crash the box when Declan is out wide and all them fucker that. If you would just let the defenders attack. It's all Google now. You went to the dictionary to find the word. Hey, listen, nah. Doc's vocabulary is extensive because I've done live panels with him. Man said like hanging out with Mason. Mason, hey, listen, Mason has his wife. His past is behind him. He did what he did. That's between him and his lady, yeah? But Ethan, the player, is what we know. Ethan, the player, is we know that is good enough to play at this level. And he's leaving the squad when he is better than what we're keeping. Give him a run of games like you've given Odegaard a run of games, and let's try it. Let's try it. Good. It's mad, but what can we do about it? Now, for this game, people, predictions are tricky because we have absolutely no idea what the manager is on. No idea what he's on with the lineup. We know he really wants to win this game to preserve his 100% record and stay at the top of the Premier League. We know this. It means something to him. Not to us, but to him. Yeah? So, as far as prediction goes, I'm looking at the scoreboard here, and Club Brugge is already up 2-0 on Carrot in the first half. Yeah? So, I don't know what's up with that early kickoff, but the time zone must be mad over there in Kazakhstan. But they're early kickoff and they're down 2-0 to Club Brugge. Now, who does Bayern Munich have? Bayern has USG, Union Saint. Yeah, so Bayern are going to smash them up. So Arteta is fully going to go strong. The heavy rotation that I'm expecting, I'm sorry, I don't expect to see it. The only rotation that he might do is actually play Skelly at left back, which is what I'm seeing on FootMob. I don't think he does. Wow, didn't even know that. My question is, when Ben White drops, will Josh Nichols magical get back on the bench? Yeah, kind of like how Mosquera just magically appeared on the bench for the weekend. How fit was he? Ben White had dropped, or Saliba. Would he have been fit enough to be called upon? Yep, 2-0. We should smoke them, man, with the B team. Must be like 8 p.m. and it's cold over there. Yeah, shit, man. Yeah. So, it's this is what happens when you keep expanding the tournament, You're gonna end up having to travel to some shit places over again. But opportunities, people, scarce commodities, very scarce, right? So Champions League is of no consequence in this game for us. That's why there's not a big old uproar. That's why I'm not even into predictions, and there's no really. This is a game that really is inconsequential to me. I'm like, okay, we're playing. Not really interested, but I will watch. This is the type of game that I go to the pub to watch. I'm going to go down to the pub and catch this one. But we move it back to the Premier League at the weekend against Man United, and I'm like, bro, have to win. Opportunities are scarce. I don't know how many opportunities we're going to get throughout the season, but we got United at home coming off a high. Right? I oftentimes reference the 2019 Toronto Raptors. Yeah. The Toronto Raptors are the 2019 NBA champions. In 2019, them men became NBA champions because a great opportunity presented themselves. No one remembers anything other than the season that Toronto wins, unless you're a diehard basketball fan like myself. And that's the year that Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in the final. His last year at Golden State. Tore his Achilles and couldn't play, and Toronto Raptors took advantage and won the goddamn NBA title. Now, with Liverpool completely falling off of a cliff and City winless in their last 4, we've been given a tremendous opportunity, and on 2 occasions didn't fully capitalize on them. Now we have 16 more games. Remember when I did the Cup Finals, the 19 Cup Finals, and said if we approach these games like Cup Finals, we should be okay? I don't get that idea that we were approaching those games like a Cup Final. Liverpool looked like they were approaching us at the Emirates like a Cup Final. Dare I say Forest played like more of a Cup Final. They had more urgency. We didn't. So opportunity presents itself. Sometimes it presents itself in a great run of form. Sometimes it presents itself in scheduling. Sometimes it presents itself in the form of injury to another player. That opportunity presented itself to the Toronto Raptors in the form of an Achilles to KD. Because KD plays, they win that series 4-1 easily. And when Danny Green destroys Clay's career, yeah. Remember that? Of course you do. You're a Warriors fan. We have to try to win. Can't play favorites with a title deal. I hear it. Sue said, am I wrong to think he will go strong in the last 2 games of like starting a strong 11? I think you're spot on. I think he starts a strong 11 tonight. The last one, maybe. It's a shit team, and depending on where that fixture falls in between other fixtures and what's going on at the time. But tonight, he's definitely going strong. Yep. 1. Anyone else find it a bit unusual the win has been so quiet? None of this daily Dusan-ish or constant links in the media. A result for Bertha? Or also watched Mendoza yesterday for Elche. You? It's been quiet as a testament to why we think we should win something, because the squad is deep. I think what we could use is a backup for Declan Rice and maybe a left back, dare I say. But that's a very difficult proposition when we let a left back leave the club for free this year. Let Kieran Tierney leave for free, and then you load out Zinchenko to go on another loan, and then you got Skelly, who's left-footed, who you don't play there. It's mad. Suge, I think that's spot-on analysis. Maybe rotated for Carrot, but surely you would think. Now, if he rotated tonight, we'd be like, he's definitely rotating. But he's not even going to rotate tonight. Not at the San Siro. There's too much risk there for him to think that we could get embarrassed. He don't want that. But 26 likes, man. Big up to the chat. 2-0. Come on, you Gunners. Big Quaja with that dose of positivity. Yeah. The opportunity presented itself, and the Toronto Raptors took advantage of it. You know what I mean? So we have to take full advantage. At 30 points in the third, Danny get his block attempt, and okay. Yeah, it was raining threes that game. So definitely know that Ethan is loaned out. Who do you think will be announced as injured in the as the window closes? Either Saka, Noni, or Martinelli. or trust out is my game. It could happen, you know, with our luck, yeah. And then it would force us into full-blown reaction mode the day before the transfer window. Someone gets hurt. That drives up the price. No? Yesterday's price, not today's price. You think that set piece, man? Set pieces or Martinelli counterattack, you know. Martinelli, he fancies the Champions League now. It's cold and freezing for the players, man. Big up to Michael. Big you up, man. Manners and respect. Do you think that is not definitely true that Arteta was totally needs trophies to stay, considering he played a strong team in the FA Cup, for instance, or it's just coincidence? I think he was told that he needs to win trophies, and I think that's why he's approaching these past 2 Premier League games with so much caution not to lose that he ended up not winning them. Because I really think if he wants to keep the lead at bay. Because, for example, if City had won those 2 games and was closer to us, I think he would have made his substitution packages a little earlier. But I think he is comfortable with a 5-6 point lead. And we wanted it to go to a 9, but he was okay with it being 7, because 7-point lead is still 3 games, isn't it? But he's playing it way too safe, and he's going to end up being sorry. Yuck with the tap in. We're not getting our customary set piece goal. This coach is more scared of losing above everything. That's why we'll never throw the kitchen sink at things. 100%. I think all of them you mentioned are getting injured. If someone gets injured tonight, Saka new contract gets announced tomorrow. The PR. They do. They play wicked. They gave us the best game last year in the Champions League. The Inter-Barcelona semifinal, was that the second leg, was the best game of football we saw in the entire tournament last year. Inter can beat you in many ways. They can do the open, honest football. They can sit back and absorb. They can counter. They can play football. They're very disciplined. Let's drop 85 and get Adam Morton. It's not hard. Yeah, I got you. But, you know, he started the kids or did some heavy rotation against Port Vale, some rotation against Brighton. I think Norgard started that game. Yeah, but when they get to the semifinals versus Chelsea, he was always going to shore it up, especially on the second leg. You're going to see a full team. He might even go with Raya. Oh, okay. I didn't even know this. Dan Green, I thought he went straight to ESPN to do analyst stuff. I need that Cronky hammer like they did at Denver and the Rams and been this coach. They've been the Denver coach. Sean McVay is still at Denver. Sean McVay is still with the Rams. And they're in the NFC Championship game this year. They did bin Mike Malone at the Nuggets. Who was an NBA title winning manager, by the way, or coach. Hey, Serge, your guy, Serge, solid contribution at left wing. Suge loves him a coming home party. Let's just hope that Latour has a good game after I've been glazing him lately. But, Latour is one of them ones who's, a big game player, clinical finisher, bad boy player. I rate him highly. I'm surprised he hasn't moved on from Inter yet. This is Serge's quality, but he just got a new contract at Bayern recently. They sacked the Bills coach the other day, so entitled those Buffalo fans, they didn't trust the process. Now I'm hearing them link with Belichick. Belichick, from the Tar Heel Nation. I'm like, nah, he's not going back to the AFC East to coach against the New England Patriots in the same division. Nah. Let's hope Gyökeres reaches 10 in all comps. Hattie would be nice. I don't think he's going to back Hattie against this bunch, against this defense. This Inter team is really good, yeah. If we're going to measure how good we are based on where we are in our league position, they're first in Serie A as well. It's the cover story how I can win without them. The Bosch fridges with no speed. Mr. Passe, is it true that the Nets are the whipping boys of the NFL? The Jets, Cowboys. Got to throw that in there. Yeah, but the Jets, yeah, they're not good. They're shit. But my team, we won 3 games this year. 3-4 games this year. We're not good either, the New York Giants, but better than them motherfuckers. Latour is who I pictured Martinelli to turn into as he hit 27-28. Not under this. Yeah, I hear it. Okay, I lied. Nabry could sign a new contract soon. That would be feasible with a good performance based on a 2-year contract and a reduced salary. I hear it. I was definitely a fan of Danny Green's solid contribution to my San Antonio Spurs. Yeah. And we appreciate you demolishing that Miami Heat dynasty, that final year with him, Kawhi. What was that, 2014? Yeah. The year that you forced LeBron back to Cleveland. Yeah. Hey, go easy. Throw the Cowboys in there, man. The Browns. Many years ago, used to be the Detroit Lions, the New Orleans Saints. They used to call themselves the Ants. Like every team goes through their fair share of battery. Big up to AJ, man. Can we get to 30 likes? 23 locked in. Anyone who ain't hit the like yet, please do so. And we can go give Miss Melina a sub. She is doing a watch along today, right, Mel? So you're doing a watch along for the Inter and Arsenal game. So bless up, Mel. We don't speak of that season. Here, yeah. Hold it. What happened to the Ox was training with Arsenal? Man, Ox can take his ass back to Liverpool. He went there. It's funny. The last game that I went to at the Emirates was a EFL Cup game in October 2016. Ox actually scored in that game. So the last memory I have at the Emirates is Ox scoring a goal, and then he went on to Liverpool to, a little bit of injury problems, but he did his thing there, But yeah, no more Ox. A big up to Mel. Hated that Miami Heat while LeBron James was there. I think the whole world hated them motherfuckers. Only LeBron James fans and the 1 or 2 people in Miami that may or may not be real Heat fans. Because no one is from Miami, right? Everybody moves to Miami, so their fan base is not that very loyal. But yeah, I hated them motherfuckers too, man. Couldn't stand them. Even if Miami Heat had won in 2014 against Spurs, Brown would still have gone home. Yeah, I'm sure he would have. And we'll pause for another round of a second, because Miss Mel just blessed us with a super chat for absolutely no reason other than she's a darling. So big her up. And make sure that you go check out Mel tonight for the Champions League watch along. I don't know. Listen, watch along ain't my thing. So I'm grateful for people like Mel, and the Waffle Don and all these other men who do watch along, because I can't. It's very difficult for me to watch you watch football, and I don't want to watch anyone watch me have a meltdown live on the internet. Maybe if we lock up this Premier League by match week 33 and then the matches are of no consequence, then I'll do watch alongs. My Oakland Raiders have been also adrift. They have never been the same since the Tuck rule, the 25 years. Brother, your Oakland Raiders drafted Jamarcus Russell. You should burn the franchise down just for that. Jamarcus Russell, that syrup-sipping, lazy-ass, sorry excuse of a human being. Titans are rubbish as well. We're not getting McDermott. He's going to either the Steelers or the Ravens. And the Tennessee Titans used to be a fucking powerhouse in the NFL, powerhouse with their run game. Chris Johnson was there, and I think they even had Vince Young there for a little bit. LeBron couldn't handle the heat, but intended. Big up to man like Jordan. Big up my G. It was never LeBron team anyway. Always D Wade's team. It will always be the greatest Heat player ever. That's true. That's true. But Wayne himself knew that he couldn't lead that Miami team to anything. Because he needed Shaq, even though he was the MVP in 06. He needed Shaq to do Shaq things, and LeBron did help him get two. It was the year with the AC drama in San Antonio. Yep, and he faked the cramps. They're trying to smoke me. Brother, how come all the other players ain't cramping? Why are you cramping? And that was prime in your prime, top-notch shape. I hate that Heat just as much as I hate the Mavs. The game is technically a dead rubber because we pretty much already top 8. Watch Arteta play a strong lineup and not rest no one. He won't rest, man. Odegaard is playing. And if you're I want to see the that they showed the bench. I want the camera to pan on the bench for a second and see when the lineup is out and man them at the San Siro and Eze is on the bench like that. I want to see Declan Rice's body language and all them something there. Because it is a meaningless game. Dead rubber. But I'm sure that the watch along that you're going to do is going to bring a whole lot of life to it. So, dead rubber as it may be, we will tune in for the entertainment that the watch along comes with. My granddad and I follow the Heat from the early days of Glenn Rice, Zoe Penny, PJ Brown, Thunder. So, and this is when I hated them the most. Because this is when they used to beef with us. Right after we send them home in 1999 playoffs with the Allen Houston roller. And we just never been the same. I just can't stand Miami, man. Don't like them. That's no excuse because both teams had to play in it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Brown was there. They're cramping me out there. They're trying to smoke me out. Nah, brother. You just couldn't deal with that San Antonio Heat in June. You can't always get what you want at Arsenal. We seldomly ever do we? Yeah, DeMarcus, brother. Marcus Russell, the shittest quarterback I've ever seen. It was just in college because he was good in college because he was big and stronger than everybody else. But he was shit. Absolute garbage. And he was forced, Al Davis forced Lane Kiffin to draft that son of a bitch because he didn't want him. Said that the Hurricanes lost yesterday in college football finals. Yeah, so Gunnar Rican, we already said our prayers for Gunnar Rican because it didn't happen for him. OG Bertha trying to get a fee for Zinni instead of a loan. What about 3 to 5 mil? Hey, every penny counts. And I was like, he's on loan to Forest, and then Forest is loaning him to Ajax. I was like, damn. Have we ever seen this? Have we ever seen a loanee get loaned out? Because I'm pretty sure Forrest had to run that by Bertha, because we still own the rights to the player, yeah? Yeah, they just make up any kind of excuses for LeBron. Still doing it. I remember the 2012 NBA Finals. This is the finals, and the man went through the entire series and averaged 1 foul. Yeah, I'm like, he's fouling people. He's making more than 1 foul a game. Yeah, I remember them games, man. Man like Dan Marley, I like Dan Marley when he was in Phoenix. When he was a Phoenix Suns player, I liked Dan Marley. The minute he went to Miami, I was like, I can't stand this motherfucker here. On top of being a great player, D-Wade is the man for marrying Gabrielle Union. Yeah, he's the man. And then he went and had a baby on Gabrielle Union. You know that part? He would have had a kid on her. And then she took his son and turned him into his daughter for revenge. Yeah, so he isn't that stand-up guy that everyone thinks he is. It was nice to see Indiana quarterback's mom with a smile on her face. She's battling multiple sclerosis at the moment. Didn't even know that, E-Ross. Appreciate that nugget. And this is what sports can do, It's a hell of a lift. Would you say the manager's primary job is problem solving? Yeah, 100%. Just like tonight, Inter's going to give him a problem to solve, Carrick is going to give him a problem to solve at the weekend. But that's the problems that you're expected to have. You have unexpected problems that are going to arise throughout your squad, throughout your day. So you have to manage it. You have to manage egos. You know? So when they go through all these player assessments and character and how is the player, it's because they want people who are easy to deal with. But that's just not how it works in sports, elite sports. Some of the players and the best players in the world will come with some egos that you're gonna have to manage. I know TT is on Sky Sports and CBS now. It seems like he's a nice guy and he's a team player. But I'm pretty sure that he was not an easy guy to manage. Knowing the technical ability that he has. Comes with a little bit of ego when you're that good. But Wenger had to manage him. If Eze wasn't going to get much playing time, he would have agreed to the move. That's what I'm saying. There's a breakdown somewhere with him. There's a breakdown somewhere with Ethan, because Ethan had to be in from his playing time, sign a new contract. You know what I mean? Because surely, if you're Eze, you didn't come to Arsenal to play less. Of course, you're going to a bigger club and you're competing on all fronts, and you weren't expecting to play every minute of every game, but you damn sure wouldn't expect him to be an unused sub for 4 fucking games while Odegaard is just out there playing regular. If he was out there playing great, I could understand it. But it's not like Odegaard is out there pulling up trees. You know what I mean? He's not out there doing Ozil's numbers. You know what I'm saying? Remember Ozil, 20 assists. He's not out there doing that. Am I the only one who doesn't care for Mrs. Union? No, Wahaha, you're my guy. Do you remember that disgraced referee Tom Donaghy who screwed over the Kings, I believe, and gave many calls to the Lakers, so the Kings didn't make the finals? Was that the year that Robert Horry made that big shot? Big shot, Rob. I think that was 2002. You know, because the Kings had a wicked squad that year. You know, yeah. The Kings. Vlade Divac, is it Michael Bibby, Petra Stojakovic, Hedo Turkoglu, Chris Webber. Yeah, they had a Jackson. They had a dude named Jackson like the backup point guard. They had a wicked team. The Sacramento Kings. Not gonna lie, Kings got robbed. Yeah, it worked for the mob and old favors. Hey, listen. I think Aisha. Aisha, you see all the shit that Aisha belonged to the streets with Jada Pinkett, man. Do you think Blunderman missed that memo? He's missed it. But I think in his own head, he thinks that he has fixed it. Right, I need to manage Aubameyang. Let's get rid of him. I don't need to manage Guendouzi. Let's get rid of him. Look at all the players in the squad now, and tell me who has personality. You're pressed. There aren't really personality in the squad. They're all nice guys. All the guys with a little bit of personality, a little bit of flair, he got rid of. So, take that for what it's worth. But it's not managing. Just get rid of him. I don't know. There's no breakdown. If you're a stiff track star runner, you don't start in this team. If you have tech and flair, you don't start in this team. But they didn't say that to him. They didn't say this to Eze. Hey, the flair that you have is not going to work here. And if you're okay with sitting on the bench behind Odegaard for 4 games not playing, sign here. That's not how you went. I mean, you're going to play a key role. You know the deal. And the only key role in extended run of games that he got in the team is when Odegaard was hurt. You know what I mean? San Antonio crying about Zaza doing the Bruce Bowen move comes full circle. You frauds. 32 likes. Bosh. Very good roster back in the day was Chris Jackson, a.k.a. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. He was bad, man. Bad boy. Some calling Kerr before. He was a bad boy, man. But yeah, he converted at a time when the country wasn't ready for it. They burned his house down and all kind of shit. And they suppressed his his freedom of speech to a different level. Jada Pinkett deserves to be in the Mumbai slums, not the streets. That's who Aisha Curry sits down and tell and embarrasses her husband on a daily basis. You know, a guy who sits at the go table is not enough for this big forehead little fucker. You know what I mean? But that's how they are, man. They be ungrateful. But predictions for Inter tonight, you take it with a grain of salt, people. We don't know what Miguel is on. We don't know what the tactics are going to be. We know that the lineup is going to be strong, but we know the tactics are probably still going to be the same. Control, 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 and do all of something there. So with that, I will go for a 2-2 at the San Siro. Be that as it may, the most inconsequential game we'll play this year. I think that's what happens. Yeah. And that would what? We've only conceded one goal in this tournament, and I think that was to Bayern. Inter have conceded 4 goals. They've scored 12. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a draw. I'm gonna go with a 2-2 draw. Declan Rice free kick and another set piece. Put her on an Indian bus. It's mad. I agree with BK. He has a personality of a chessboard. He attracted to the same. Yeah. Get rid of him. I don't manage him. Get rid of him. No. So while he is here, we can comfortably say we won't get any of the world's best players as free agents unless we find them early and develop them into a Lamine Yamal, into a Vinny Jr. and Mbappe. We're gonna have to develop them because while these players exist and play elsewhere, this manager ain't doing that. 2-1 Inter, they have more to fight for, and we tend to get complacent. Fair shout. Slums are too She for the streets. She for the streets. She for the streets. But it all depends on what the lineups are. So we will be back later, people. Yeah, I won't be back on right after. I won't be on the domestics or anything like that because the pub, when the game is over, you chit chat, and by the time I get home with traffic, it's another 30 minutes. So probably we'll be back later with some analysis of all the Champions League action for the day. So big up to everyone. Love. I can always say, people, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, we are